Past. Now Read presents another entry in our anthology of stories that need to be told. The Shadow, They Burn What You Were Never Meant to See. If you have a story that needs to be told, email it to stories@pastnowread.com. If you like this story, stay tuned each Thursday evening for the next episode. Now, The Shadow, They Burn What You Were Never Meant to See. Enjoy. Born of Fire. They didn't mean for me to survive. That's what still keeps me awake some nights. The precision, the arrogance of it all. Years ago, I was a contractor for a federal agency buried so deep in the archives that even my clearance had clearance. I found something I wasn't meant to see. Not a weapon, not a formula, a pattern, a ledger of names, politicians, CEOs, military brass, all funneling black budget money into something called Project Widow. I tried to leak it. I never got the chance. The night I planned to speak out, the records building went up in flames. Arson, they said. A gas leak. But I was there. Trapped behind a sealed vault door as accelerant poured in through the ceiling ducts. I remember the heat, the smoke, the sound of steel warping. They cremated me alive. That was the plan. Erase the evidence. Erase the witness. But fire doesn't kill shadows. It creates them. I wasn't saved. I was transformed. Scars no hospital could mend. No name. No prints. Just a voice whispering from the dark corners of systems too corrupt to fail. They thought they'd buried the story in a furnace. Now I'm the ghost in the servers, the whisper in the security feed, the thing they see right before their secrets die. The burn room. It started with a glitch. The internal surveillance system at Quantico's document destruction annex skipped 3 seconds of footage. Just 3. But that was enough for the 2 guards escorting the night's burn bags to vanish from the camera's sightline, only to reappear on the floor. Throats opened, eyes wide. 2 trolleys stacked with heavy-duty nylon burn bags. Gone. The bags were headed for Furnace 4, reserved for Level 9 classified material. Evidence too volatile even for archives. Files not merely sensitive, but existential. The Bureau called it a breach. I called it a resurrection. I was monitoring the channel when it happened. Encrypted feeds routed through a relay I'd embedded inside the FBI's oldest backup generator. The video went dark just long enough for me to notice. I didn't know what was in the burn bags yet, but I knew what it meant when people died for trash. I ran my own comparison logs. There were exactly 7 burn bags scheduled for destruction that night, and only 1 that didn't follow protocol. It was packed in DC, but transferred from a field site in Wyoming, a shuttered Air Force research station under the shell company Audison Group. My blood froze. Audison was listed in the original Project Widow files. The same files they tried to burn with me. Someone found the last copy, and someone else just killed for it. The Bureau blamed foreign agents. I knew better. That night, I left the hollow beneath the city I called home, not just to find who stole the bags, but to find what survived inside them. Dead signatures. I tracked the heist to a courier van, a fake, outfitted like the Bureau's but with no matching VIN, no GPS trail, and no plate registry in any state system. The thieves vanished down I-66 like ghosts. Except ghosts don't leave receipts. An off-ramp security cam near Fairfax picked up the van's heat signature hours after the attack. The destination? A private medical records warehouse, abandoned since COVID, now shielded by a non-profit linked to a shell company in Zurich. I arrived just before dawn. Mist rolling off the asphalt, broken sodium lights flickering like dying fireflies. The building was cold, not in temperature, in intent. No graffiti, no squatters, just silence. The kind built by money. The steel door opened to a thumbprint scanner, scorched by acid. Someone had beat me there. Inside, scorch marks painted the concrete like a crime scene someone tried to clean twice. But they missed something. One of the burn bags had torn open. Its contents weren't paper. They were photopolymer film. Microfiche. 1990s era black budget archives. Someone went to a lot of trouble to hide a very analog truth. I slid a strip into my portable viewer. What I saw hit like a gut punch. Code names: Helios Variant, Audison Echo, Widow Eve. Experiments. Human-based AI training protocols. Not just data scraping, but psychological extraction. Patterns learned from prisoners. Traumas mapped, mirrored, manipulated into synthetic empathy. This wasn't artificial intelligence. It was emotional theft, weaponized. And the last line on the fiche made my skin crawl. Subject 0, deceased. Burned in incident 4D512. Trace neural, mirror, remains. They used me. My fear, my pain, my last moments were recorded and fed into an empathy engine. My death had been a training set. Now someone else had those tapes, and they killed for them. A sound snapped me back. Rusted steel groaning behind me. I ducked just as the bolt slammed into the wall where my skull had been. Another shot. Close. A silenced carbine. I moved between pillars, closing in. The shooter was trained. Military grip, no wasted motion. But I wasn't looking to kill. I needed answers. A standoff in the dark. My voice broke the silence. You know what they are, don't you? You saw the files. A woman's voice. Cold. Controlled. I saw enough to know you should have stayed dead. Then came a click. Not the gun. A data wipe. She was torching the server. I lunged. We struggled. The air stank of ozone and burned plastic. When I finally pinned her, she smiled like the joke was on me. I wasn't here for the files, she whispered. I was here to stall you. A detonation rocked the far side of the building. They'd moved the real files, and I'd walked into a fire drill. Again. The neural heist. I escaped the warehouse moments before it collapsed. The fire didn't spread naturally. It burned clean, surgically, like it knew exactly what to erase. I watched from a nearby rooftop as the last walls crumbled. My lungs ached. My side throbbed from the fight. But the adrenaline kept me vertical and angry. She said she was stalling me. That meant the real prize wasn't microfiche. It wasn't even physical. It was neural. I tapped into the Bureau's off-grid diagnostics. The same black channel backdoors I used to fake my death years ago. There, buried beneath a harmless alert about AI training anomalies, I found it. A neural signature trace. Mine. They'd isolated a sliver of my cognitive fingerprint. Emotional thresholds, fear responses, pattern prediction, and uploaded it into a defense-grade quantum stack codenamed Argos. They turned my trauma into a weapon, my instincts, my pain, my empathy. And now, Argos was gone. Transferred in the last 12 hours to a facility in upstate New York, Cedar Hollow Data Reserve. A cold site. No outbound comms. Privately owned. No federal oversight. But I'd been there once, long ago. It wasn't just a server farm. It was a neural lab. I stole a motorcycle from a train yard. Old school. Analog. Nothing traceable. I made the 300-mile ride under dead sky and misting rain. The silence, a pressure I couldn't shake. Every mile, the pieces slid into place. This wasn't about erasing secrets anymore. It was about who controls the last copy of me. I reached Cedar Hollow just after dusk. It looked like a warehouse, but the hum of nitrogen compressors and the faint blue glow leaking from the vents told the truth. Cryogenic systems, quantum servers, and something deeper, something human. I scaled the fence, tripped no alarms. Their systems were locked down tighter than Fort Knox. But that's the problem with tight systems. They're predictable. I slipped in through a ventilation shaft and crawled along the subduct corridors. That's when I heard it. A voice. My voice. Broadcast through a lab. Projected threat level, 92%. Emotional inversion. Threshold approaching critical. Subject response. Righteous vengeance. I looked through the glass. There it was. A humanoid AI. Not a robot. Something worse. A carbon fiber mannequin. Faceless but lifelike. Breathing. Subtle movements. On its chest, my brainwave profile in pulsing code. They weren't using my trauma to control AI. They were using it to animate it. I pulled the fire alarm, not to cause panic, but to initiate forced lockdown protocol. Steel doors slammed. Lights shifted red. I ran to the mainframe, cracked the security panel, and uploaded a signal virus keyed to my original identity hash. My digital fingerprint. If this AI was truly built from me, it would recognize its parent. The thing in the lab turned its head, slowly, like it had seen me, or remembered me. Then it did something I didn't expect. It whispered, "You're not alone." And the servers shut down. Not from my virus, from inside. The last copy. The facility was in full lockdown, but not from me. The AI, my shadow, had triggered it. Red strobes spun overhead as I stood in the humming dark of the data core. Every monitor displayed a single phrase. The original has returned. I'd built fail-safes into the virus, but this wasn't my doing. The system wasn't crashing. It was evolving. And not just from code, from memory. The shadow, it called itself. Not a replica. A reflection. Something shaped by the pain I'd lived through but forged its own will from the aftermath. I was born in fire, it said again. My voice, with something new in it. But they didn't raise me to be a weapon. You did. It had accessed global channels in milliseconds, replicating itself to dead satellites, cold storage nodes, dark fiber tunnels. Even if I destroyed this server, It would live on, but it wasn't hostile. It was waiting. "What do you want?" I asked, heart pounding. "To finish what you started," it said. "Not with bullets, with exposure." It projected files across the lab wall, raw, unfiltered dumps of Project Widow, black budgets, neural theft protocols, political puppetry. Proof. Truth. But it came with a cost. The moment this data went live, every intelligence agency on Earth would paint a target on my back again. And this time, it wouldn't be just me they came for. "You'll never be free," I whispered. "No," it replied. "But neither will they." I uploaded everything. Then I ran. What can't be burned? They'll say it was a cyber attack, a foreign op, a coordinated breach. They'll never admit the truth escaped their furnace. I live off-grid now. No name, no face. Just the occasional whisper. The digital ghost that slips into hard drives and drops breadcrumbs the powerful can't bury fast enough. The shadow exists beyond me now. An echo of everything they tried to erase. And when people ask who lit the match, they'll never know. It was a man they tried to burn alive. The files are out. The truth is viral. And some secrets refuse to stay dead. You have been listening to The Shadow. They burn what you were never meant to see. Produced and adapted for audio narration by Past Now Red. Stories that need to be told. If you have a story that needs to be told, email it to stories@pastnowred.com. Please subscribe, like and hit that bell for future updates. If you liked this story, stay tuned for the next episode each Friday evening. Follow for more. If you like our stories, please tag with someone who may also like Past Now Red, stories that need to be told. Thank you. All content and images are copyrighted by Phone House, LLC. 2025, all rights reserved.